Auntie, my grandmother's maid. There was a good story once. She and I were sitting on a bench in the atrium at my grandparents' house. Told me that soon she was going to go away and rest her bones, get the rest of her bone. My grandmother. My grandmother and grandfather. My Uncle Larry. I think the fish was caught by my grandfather. My grandfather and great-grandmother. My mother's parents. It says, "Welcome to the wedding. Love, Susie." Yet another blonde grandchild. My sister Susanna and her daughter Carly. Sunday was Carly's 20th. Max and Sarah and dog and baby unknown. My sister's children. From Dylan, my sister's son. This box I am looking at is my mother's 80th birthday box, which we filled with stories, recipes, and photographs.
Music by
Earlier this year, 2018, I told you a story about Win requesting more bedtime stories saying Moa. You've called him Mo ever since, which I love. We're excited to announce we're expecting one Moa in April 2019. Sarah, Caleb, and Winsome. Mo, Christopher. sister Reagan. I love picnics in Vermont. Find the cellar hole or an apple tree. Pack us up in the station wagon. Voila. Daughters. James and Dylan. My older sister has a baby. Caspian, her grandson. Susie. My mother's father, grandfather, at younger days. Sarah in 1988. Sarah is a family name. There's one at least in every generation. Sarah and Max. Max. Sarah and Max. I have no idea. Sarah and Max. 1991. Some baby on my lap because I remember the dress. Made by my mother, copied from a dress I loved when I was 22. Me with the baby again. I have no idea who. Perhaps when. Sarah and Caleb and Wynn. My mother. The date on 1990, Seattle Filmworks. In my grandmother's house. The birth of Dylan. No idea.
It's 70% of us, the Palestinians, since 1948.
Very strange.
And they are trying to put the peaceful Palestinians by our state of our own. What does it mean? People are already under Israel.
My mother was an ace at getting cranky people to smile. All the things my mother cooked for us. I will always be thankful that you taught me to do a little housework every day. Then the house stays cleaner and doesn't seem so huge. That was my nickname for my mother. I was just called Ginger Root. I remember flambeing the rum cake so many times that the bottom half of the cake was saturated in rum. I remember that you didn't get angry when Susie and I put the broom handle through the chimney flue that you had just papered over. I remember candle making and the smoothness of the wax when we broke the jar. I remember the smell of hot wax. I remember how you loved your greenhouse and growing things there. I remember putting a dollar bill in the tendril of a vine that was growing. I remember you saying, garden with a hand on, make the flowers profuse. Oh, garden with abandon, make the flowers profuse and abundant. Wise words of advice in my 30s, think less, laugh more. I learned to love sewing because of you. All of the hours we have spent talking fabric, imagining clothes, creating beauty. James. Carly. Name them and they will remember you and remain in your memory. Right out of the 80s. Actually, early 2000s. 80s? 90s? Reagan, Sarah, Max. No idea. Carly, Dylan. Dylan. Hyacinths. Somewhere. Oh, these must be from my mother's flower garden. Oh no, they're from my sister's flower garden. It says Griswold on the back. Dylan. Two Sarahs. Two generations. Sarah flying. Duplicate. Reagan, Caleb, Win. Win, Reagan, Caleb. Sarah, Max. Caleb, Win, his cousin, born a month earlier or later than him. Carly. Carly. Your Jurgen's soft hands on my forehead whenever I needed comfort. Signed by all the other three sisters. We had many memorable visits at the inn. The time was another wonderful example of a unique experience that we were lucky enough to grow up around. How neat to be able to spend summers and holidays with our grandparents in a beautiful historic inn. I recall one summer at least we would go down to the farmer's market. I don't remember if it was once a week or more frequent. What I do recall is that while you were off buying vegetables, I would always go find a goat cheese stand. They made a cheese with chives in it that I could not get enough of. I would bring it back to the inn and eat the whole tub, one wheat thin at a time. At some point, one of the new Harry Potter books had come out. I remember one rainy day, sitting at one of the round tables near the bookshelf. I had my chive goat cheese and a wheat thin spread in front of me as I read. Pure happiness. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. Max. The upstairs at St. George was our haven. That was such a beautiful loft space just by itself. But I think back on all the fond memories from that building, it just makes me happy. He would often take us to the movie rental store in Thomaston. I would always rent either a ninja movie or Operation Dumbo Drop. I love the films themselves, but in the upstairs in St. George on that big bed, I would act them out. There were single foam mattresses that were perfect landing pads, and those giant round pillows became a jungle gym. In my imagination, I was doing battle with ninjas or jumping out of airplanes. With such a warm space and a root beer float with vanilla ice cream. How could a kid ask for more? Max. I remember when Max, Zoe, and I went to visit Reagan, you, and John in Union. It was Zoe's first time meeting her great-grandparents and being old enough to remember the visit. Zoe was enamored with the garden. We played hide and seek outside in the bushes. My favorite part of the day was hearing the shrieks of delight from the bedroom as Zoe was playing with Reagan. Reagan would lie in the bed and pretend to sleep, and when Zoe leaned in closely, she would pop up with a shriek. Zoe was so thrilled with the game. To this day, she still remembers her great-grand and her popping up on the bed and scaring Heather. Silver white hair. You have this hands known to man. On our second trip to Wheaton's, we stayed in the cabin further from the lake. We spent more of our free time in the cabin than our previous trip. I remember vividly was playing poker with you for change. I don't recall if you brought the change specifically for the game or if you emptied your car, but either way, we had a whole bunch. What stood out to me is that I had only really played the game with the other side of the family, so when you told me that you knew how to play too, I was so excited. Seems like such a simple thing, but how fine a thing to share a game of cards, just the two of us. Max. My favorite part of playing family games is you're not stop using violent and often loud verbiage or less eloquent cussing. You may not do it too often, but I love when you sing. First great-grandchild. Oh no, that's not true. Second. Maybe third. Well, anyway, first great-grandchild from Sarah. Colorado. Bryn, age 16, Henry and Sarah's granddaughter. And mother. Reagan. Love the artwork. Henry. A boat, probably, that Mom and Max built. Fishing, Max and Mom. Cross-country trip. Zoe. When the film Jurassic Park came out in 1993. Sometime after that, they released a virtual reality game that was popular in arcades. The game had an enclosed seat to simulate sitting in a vehicle. Once inside, each player had a fake gun attached to the game, and dinosaurs would pop up on the screen to shoot. Certainly this game was every young man's ideal adventure, and I know it was mine. But I never expected for my grandmother to play it with me. You took me there one day and clearly expressed a desire to play. We saddled up and you set down a full bag of quarters on the dash. We started playing and we didn't stop until the game had been beaten. I don't know how many quarters we spent, but thinking back on how this memory has stuck with me, so most certainly was worth it. Never in my wildest dreams did I think you would be alongside me firing virtual bullets at animated dinosaurs with glee. I've told this story many times as evidence that I had the coolest grams ever. Max. To Mugwordicus from Ginger Root. Walking along the Spanish coast, a rocky affair with waves washing below, seeing a gate into a garden that was clearly loved and tended for generations. And you sang, I would have loved staying in one place a long, long time in order to have a garden like that. He's back. Henry remembers learning about Maine from you, the people, their attitudes, and above the air. I remember reading poetry to you while you sewed. I would help out with the hand finish work. I remember all the beautiful dresses you made for me, including my prom dresses, my summer dresses, and my wedding gown. Delicious home-cooked meals every day. Thank you for always having my back. Big welcome and smiles. Freedom to be freedom to be, because you gave us structure and discipline early. Hot sand, cool ocean water. Hugs. Making awesome 10-inch pies, especially apple that didn't last as long. I still cut the apples the way you do, including the skins, random sizes, best pies. Maple syrup helps too. Parenting advice I've used on my own children. Saving your baby clothes until they are interested. A book may just not interest you until you are older. Writing condolence letters gets easier because of practice. You taught me how to love powder. Last point, up to have cereal in metal bowls, out to the beach to collect treasures. Afternoon spent gluing treasures on treasure driftwood. Next day start again. That is the source of my art. The little used bookstore in Owl's Head, I just tried to look it up. I thought it perhaps would still be around in some form. But it is there and is no internet presence. I think it had lobster in the name. The vision I have of that place is a gray-slided building, almost a shack that was perched on a green hill, overlooking. One of the coves. The owner sat around in the front, surrounded by her books. The inside of that store seemed like a maze to me. The floor sloped in places, and the rows of books seemed endless. I don't know if I already had a love of books prior to our trips there, or if that place was my inspiration, but I hold that shop as my gold standard for what a used bookstore should be. Even as I sit and write this now, I think about how lucky I felt to have access to such a treasure trove. I owe that love of books to many in my family, but I can't think of a more specific event that made me love books more than our trips to Owl's Head. You were my first teacher. You taught me to be curious, so curious about everything. Max, this is a memory of my all-time favorite lunches. We were out on the water on my first visit to Wheaton's Lodge, and it was a beautiful sunny day. I honestly don't remember the name of our guide, but he was the one who often took us out. We had some fairly well fishing this morning and had caught our lunch. I watched as he, Andy, deftly unpacked the gear, made a small fire, and began cooking the fish in a large cast iron pan. I wasn't fond of fish at the time, but the way he prepared it, the size and the setting certainly made it so delicious. We sat on the banks of East Grand Lake together and enjoyed fresh fish on a summer day. I can still see the sun filtering through the smoke from the campfire as you enjoyed a cup of coffee. I could be mistaken, but I think he used a raw egg in the preparation of that coffee. Something about soaking up the grounds. I didn't try it, but I won't forget the idea of it. I remember how proud I was when you graduated from Cambridge College. Dear Reagan, I'm grateful for all these years. Thank you for your love and encouraging me. I think of you every day and love you. Elizabeth.